You wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't think that you were a slave to alcohol. But what else are you a slave to? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today I wanted to talk about just being a slave to whatever it is in your life, right? Once you're a slave to something, it's another form of victim mentality, a victim mindset. We're all sort of, anyone who's taken any drug, whether it's alcohol, cocaine, cigarettes, salt, sugar, any drug in your life, as long as you're relying on something from the outside to give you something on the inside, then you're a slave to that thing. You cannot do without it, right? And this goes with so many different areas of your life. You can be a slave to your thinking, to your beliefs. You can be a slave to people around you, to your environment, to drugs. But these are all the things that are going to restrict your movement, right? They're going to restrict your life. They're going to restrict the person that you can be. I'm all for self-actualization, right? Which is trying to be the best person that you can possibly be, right? And we've all got limits to ourselves, right? Physical limits or whatever, but those limits are never as limited as we like to think they are, right? We impose so many of the limits on ourselves by the things that we do in life, by the way that we think, by our beliefs, by the systems that we use to think, by the outside systems that we let encroach on our own lives and imprison us. So that's my message for today, is just to think about that. Think about the things in your life that are holding you holding you in slavery. Now, one of the caveats to this is that, alcohol is a big one. Same as cigarettes is a big one, right? They're big drugs. It's as bad, if not worse, than taking heroin, right? You think about this all the time. When you're a cigarette smoker, it's like it's a constant thing. You don't even think about it anymore. It's just a constant take out the cigarette. It's only when you don't have it that you start to think about it, right? Same with alcohol. It's only when you don't actually have the alcohol anymore and somebody says to you, no, oh no, there's no alcohol here. You run out of alcohol. We've all been through that situation. I used to be terrified of it when I was drinking, running out of alcohol when I really wanted to drink, when I was enjoying it, and it was like, horrible feeling, But so it's only when you get the thing taken away from you that you realize how much of a dependence you have on it. But the point is that your addiction, your slavery to this is overpowering your slavery to other things, so it's overshadowing. So because it's such a big one, such a big addiction, such a big element, right? You can't think about the other things. But when you do stop drinking and you get yourself free from that mental slavery, from that physical slavery that alcohol is, then you'll start to see the other things. And it's a time to start looking at other things in your life, to start looking at the other little addictions that you've got, and all addictions are slavery, and I'm not saying, look, there's certain things that we need in this life, right? Lock a person in a room and suck out all the air, and you'll see how much air means to you, right? You need air, you need food, you need sex, you need companionship. There's certain things that we need as human beings, right? There's certain things that we don't need, it's like a neighbour of mine has just bought a BMW, mate of mine, and he's talking about this fucking BMW and going on about it and stuff like that. And he's finally got the BMW and stuff. And now he's talking about a different car, You know, he's got the BMW for maybe 3 months now, and he's got used to it. You know, he's used to this thing now, and you know, it's a status thing for him. He loves the you know, he's the first one to go out and buy, you know, pay a couple of €100 for a watch and then show it to you and go. And he's not talking about the watch or the functions of the watch or anything like that. He's talking about the name, right? And you know, the only name I know in the watch world is Rolex, you know, or Swiss watches or whatever it is, right? So that's why I'm talking about cars and stuff. But he talks about the names and stuff, and he's talking about the name of this and the name of that. It's like somebody who goes out and, you know, talks about a Gucci handbag or Jimmy Choo shoes. Is that what it is? Jimmy Choo shoes, you know, and they pay over the odds because they like the label, you know, and they want to be perceived in a different way because of the label, right? The label doesn't make anyone perceive you in a different way at all, right? It doesn't make you feel better. It's another form of slavery, you know, this kind of buying stuff for the sake of buying stuff, for the sake of having this thing, you know. This guy doesn't care about his fucking BMW anymore, you know. You know, all he cares about is buying something new. You know, I don't get that kind of thinking. I mean, I used to love my old Land Rovers, and I know it's a certain form of thing. I like my Land Rovers because I was able to take them apart, I was able to put them back together again. I was able to work on them myself, and there was a certain feeling that I had with it that sort of, you know, it brought me to a certain place. So, you know, there's an element to it there, right? And I understand it, but it's another form of slavery, you know. This is one of the rambliest videos. This is definitely going to be a rambly video. So, all I'm saying is that when you do stop drinking, even before you stop drinking, if that's your thing, start to think about the other areas of your life that you can make the changes, right? Or you can, you know, try and look for the other parts of it that are holding you hostage, that are keeping you from expressing yourself fully, from being the person that you want to be fully. So anyway, if you have a comment at all, leave it down below. If you've got any suggestions, leave it down below. If you come over to the website and sign up for the newsletter. Until next time, stay safe, keep the alcohol out your mouth, keep away from all forms of mental slavery. I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Onwards and upwards.